Good afternoon, friends. I'm back on my beautiful beloved VFR and it feels great to be on it. I'm going on a little jolly. Fully loaded for the first time in ages. I've just noticed I've not look at that muck on my elbow. That's from when we went to the English Electric Motor Company and had to go on the off-roading, and I came off.
The track looks good, you know, from up above.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we've made it look like more of a track though since we've been going round.
Yeah, welcome. I'm on a little jolly, something very, very... I'm going to say something a bit different. It's not a bit different, it's very, very different. Some of you might have seen a video that I made, oh, I don't know, God knows how long ago, felt like it was forever ago. And it was entitled, Yes Please Mr. Missenden Flyer. To cut a long story short, it's Friday afternoon, I'm on my way down to Mr. Missenden Flyer's house. Going out for a couple of beers tonight, and tomorrow, look at the weather, tomorrow we're going up in the sky in his plane. Yes. I've not looked forward to it at all, because he did say from the beginning, don't take it for, even though we've got this date pinned, don't take it for granted that it'll happen, because loads of stars have to align for it to happen. Anyway, the stars have aligned, and tomorrow we're going up in the air, and I cannot wait. What a weekend we've chosen. The heat wave's back. It's currently 23 degrees and supposed to be getting hotter tomorrow and hotter again Sunday. So what a wicked bank holiday weekend we've got ahead of us. It's nice to be back on the VFR again. And also, I think Sunday morning before I come home, TMF is going to take my VFR for one of his episodes of Reader's Rides, and I'll take one of his bikes for one of my episodes of my sub rides, which will be cool. Not sure which one he'll let me loose on. I've ridden a street triple, I've ridden a GS, I haven't ridden a CRF 250, I haven't ridden a Panigale, nor have I ridden the Speed Twin and the, what else has he got now? I can't bloody keep up with the man. He's got the Royal Enfield Interceptor, hasn't he? That's a lovely looking machine. Anyway folks, we're going to plough down the motorway for a couple of hours. Roll that intro! Woohoo! Good morning folks, look where we are.
Morning.
Hey.
Or shall I say, hey kids? No, I won't say that.
So it's finally come to fruition. I've been begging for such a long time, and it's actually happening today. We're going up in the sky with the Missenden Flyer. Yes.
Well, we're planning to.
Yeah, we're not actually at the plane.
We can always bin it when we're on the runway. It's the nature of flying.
Don't say that, I'm so excited.
No, it should be good. What a day we got for it though, eh?
Oh, it's stunning, stunning, absolutely stunning.
There are tiger moths flying. If they fly, that means it's good.
So which is ours then? Which is
the one right over there? We're getting a bit of exercise to walk to. Delta Bravo. Little red and white one.
Oh, the far side, yeah.
Yeah. Blimey, it's like Heathrow here. Look at them all.
I can't believe how busy it is.
Everybody nipping off for a cheeky lunch.
It's just brilliant to be able to do that.
Wonder where they're going. They're probably all going to Goodwood. That'd be a problem. Normally it's got covers on it, and it's all strapped down to the ground and everything else, and it's a load more faff to get that.
Oh yeah.
But he's left it in perfect condition for us, so that's great. Good man.
Fantastic.
Right, let the faffing about come in.
Okay, you crack on then, and
Much faffing. This could be some.
I'll get
some. We've got a big card in there. What's the battery?
So folks, while TMF gets on with the important stuff, I don't want to interfere with any of that or be any kind of influence, but how amazing, it's finally happening and I'm so excited. Thank you. I've never done this before. I'm properly excited about this. It's going to be fantastic.
sunroof today.
Hello, is it you?
Oh, flaps down. Man, it's warm in here. So you're going to be goose to my Maverick, okay?
Okay.
This has now come back in vogue again, isn't it? They're making that new Top Gun.
That's it, yeah.
They didn't Goose die.
Yeah.
Oh. You might not want the headset. Right, so this is the big check that we won't have to do at the other end.
Right.
Thankfully, given what we're doing now. Appears to be attached. Good. We have a whiff of that. That's what proper petrol smells like. Oh, good stuff, isn't it? Have a sweet.
Later, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Not after last night.
What are you doing there then?
It's just to check for any water.
Yeah.
So this is fully fueled, so it'd be unusual. But if you've got a hot day like today and it's a white aeroplane and you've got fuel in there, you can often overnight get condensation form inside the tank.
Right.
Water drips into the fuel, drops to the bottom of the tank. That's the lowest part of the fuel tank.
Oh, okay.
So you can basically check to see if there's any in there. If there is, you just drain it out.
Right.
But there was none in there, so that's fine. On the oil, that's good. So these engines are very simple, as you can see. There's no clever electronics involved here. There's no, you know, there's no fuel injection or anything like that. It's magneto driven. Everything's doubled up, so there's like 2 spark plugs per cylinder, and all. Well, not of their spark plugs. So basically, the idea is the whole thing can keep running with no electrics.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fail-safes built in, as you can see. But what do I know? I'm no expert. Oh, sorry. I've done this before, Rich. You'll be all right. Looking for cracks, one of my favourite pastimes.
Cracks in the prop, that was.
I'm just checking to see that the undercarriage is all extended and that the oleos have actually got some play in them and there's nothing bent out of shape. Similar visual check here. I always like to check that part because there was once where I wiggled that on a plane and it came off and it's like a fuel jet, so that's not good.
No.
Unbelievably, this is the brake fluid. It looks like an old teacup bottle, doesn't it?
It does.
Which it probably is. Brake fluid's good. Back to basics engineering, really. And this is obviously a horizontally opposed engine, so it's like half a BMW Boxer engine, you could say. It's made by Lycoming, but it's about the equivalent of about a 5-litre engine, I think.
Okay.
Puts out 180 horsepower, this one. Quick look at the brake discs. And calipers, you're just checking to see if there's anything that's out of shape again or any runs down the oleos that don't look normal. This is called a creep mark. It lets you know if the tyre's moving around the wheel.
All right, yeah.
So if that red bit's out of alignment with that, you know the tyre's too flat.
Yeah.
It's quite clever, really. Another little fuel drain here. Again, just to check for any contaminants or water. And the sniff just confirms that you are sniffing fuel, not all water.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't know the difference. Basically monitors the airspeed, so you get ram air going in that hole in the front. There's a little hole at the bottom which measures the static pressure. Difference between the two is what drives your airspeed indicator. So you're just making sure no insects, there's a little hole at the back as well, no insects have nested in there or anything.
Right.
And one of the checks you do when you're rolling on the runway is to make sure that your airspeed is active. If it's not, it probably means that's blocked.
That's blocked, yeah.
So you can make a choice as to whether to abort or carry on regardless.
Yeah.
That's the stall warner. Makes a noise in the cockpit that goes bleep. If the angle of attack of the plane's getting too high at the front, you start to get turbulent air flowing off the top of the wing.
Okay, yeah.
So just before the stall, you get that turbulent air, and that lifts that up.
Yeah.
And tells you that you're about to stall. So again, it's all mechanical, but it's foolproof. Very clever. Which is why I checked that earlier when I had the power on to make sure you could hear that buzzing noise you might have heard. And the flaps always go down a little bit more, so you can have a little look at the linkages in there. then a general look at the surface condition, make sure there's nothing sort of bent or rippled, all the aerials are where they should be. Check that this trim tab moves. As I move this up, this whole thing should move up. It doesn't down. When we alter the trim later on in the cockpit, that aerodynamically holds this tailplane in the position that you want it in.
Right.
Then a quick look in here. It has an arm attached under here. It goes in there a fair way with a big counterbalance weight, so it makes all this quite light to actually move. And very clever how it's all done. That one I won't wiggle. I just make sure it's attached because that's attached to the steering wheel on the front. Right. Rudder. And that's it as far as I'm concerned. That's what we call the check A complete, and the plane's good to go. So
Yeah, so you've gone all the way around it and you checked everything.
So we can go flying.
Yes.
So, in case you're interested, and I assume you're alright as you come to fly, and well, we've got a bit of time while we're waiting for our slot. That sounds good, doesn't it? Lots of stuff I'm going to be using during the flight, which you might wonder what the heck it's all about. So this is the carb heat, right? So I'll bring that on. As I said, it's a basic aeroplane. When you're squirting fuel into a carburettor, obviously there's evaporation takes place, and because of some clever stuff with gases, it means that the temperature drops within the carburettor. There's a danger of icing in the carburettor. So by opening that, you bring hot air straight from the engine straight into the carb, and it blows the ice away.
Right.
So I use that a lot, even on a day like today, even though we can see there are, you know, it looks like a nice sunny day, which it is. There are some clouds high up, there's some moisture in the air, we can see it's a little bit hazy. So there is still a strong chance of carb icing, so I'll be using that every sort of 10 minutes. I'll give it a 10-second blast. Mixture control, which is what you start and stop the plane with, sort of, but also if you're flying, won't be relevant for us today, but if you're on a really high flight, you would lean that off so you get best fuel economy. Throttle, obviously no gear, so that's just, unlike with motorcycles and cars, you fly airplanes at full throttle for a large portion of the flight, i.e. takeoff. So the engines are obviously designed to be able to take full power for a period of time. Interesting though, this is the RPM gauge. I mean, it only effectively red lines at 2,700 RPM, so very low revving. It's obviously a torquey motor. When we're flying, it'll be up at sort of 1,900 RPM, something like that, when we're in the cruise. But when you check it idles in the checks, it'll idle at about 700 RPM, which sounds really slow for an engine, doesn't it, that we're used to from bikes. So that's that. Obviously the standard instruments, airspeed's very important when you're landing in particular. It's important to nail that in this aeroplane at around about 70 knots as you come over the hedge, and then bring it back to about 65 as you touch down. We'll take off at a similar sort of speed. Artificial horizon, useful for if you're flying on instruments, not so much for us today. Altimeter, of course. This little thing at the side here is called a Colsman window. See, it says at the moment it's set on 1018, which is the barometric pressure. What we'll do when we call in, they'll tell us something called the QFE, which is the barometric pressure at this airfield. We'll set that to match that, so that we know that is set for ground level here. When we fly, we'll talk to Farnborough or some other agency, and they'll tell us something called QNH. That's the air pressure at sea level. So everybody that's flying across the country sets it with a reference to sea level. There's no point setting it to your local airfield because you'll all be at different heights in the air.
Got you,
So you set it to sea level, that's called the QNH. So you'll hear me mention QNH a lot. That's me just setting that or telling him what I'm set at, so that everyone's flying at the same relative. Then when we get to our destination, we'll set it back to QFE, which is relative to the ground again, because then you want to know how high you are above the ground. This is a gyro-driven compass, which is, it turns like a compass, but it doesn't automatically work, so you have to sync it with this, which is the wet compass at the top. So again, one of the first checks we do is we sync up this with this, and then periodically through the flight we just check that they're still matching. The clock is actually a flight instrument, believe it or not. That's how I know when to change fuel tanks. 2 fuel tanks, so we have to balance the wings out. Because again, if you're flying for a half an hour on one, the airplane will start to go around the corner. So you switch fuel tanks here, and on this plane it's quite good because it's just got a left and right fuel tank, and you just switch between them. You switch your fuel pump on.
So you work in them like almost together?
Personally I change it every 15 minutes, and then if I've forgotten one I can never be more than half an hour out. When you learn, they usually say do it every half an hour, but that's what I do. This is like this is the primer, so you squirt some juice into the engine before you go with that. Stall warning, that comes on when we hear the bleeping noise, when that little flap that we talked about. We'll hear that in our headsets.
So will I hear everything you hear?
Yes, but don't worry about, you won't, if I'm talking to somebody on the radio and you sneeze or something, they won't hear you sneeze, they only hear me. But we can talk all the time. Normal gauges, when I mention T's and P's are good, which I often mention when I go to check, I'm referring to temperatures and pressures. That's these gauges here. So oil temperatures, fuel pressure and oil pressure. Obviously you want them all in the green. They vary throughout the flight to start with. They might not be quite in the green because it won't have warmed up. It's a warm day, we expect the oil pressure to get quite, in the green relatively soon. And then you've got fuel gauges, which are notoriously unreliable on planes because they're warbling around all over the place. So we pretty much ignore those. I've just checked visually, I know I'm full of fuel, so we're good there. And that is all you need to know. Oh, and then the radios, of course. So better go through that bit. So this is sort of the navcom set. This is the main radio set, and this is what we call the transponder. Again, when we talk to Farnborough, he'll tell me to squawk a code. So you might say squawk, I don't know, 7010, it won't be that, but a number like that. I'll then dial that number into here, press enter, and then when on his radar, he'll see that number, so he'll know that's us that he's talking to.
Yeah, all right,
So that's
just to keep track.
Exactly. That's sort of an identification, friend or foe thing. But that's when he says squawk. That's what he's talking about there.
Right.
That's called the transponder. If he says squawk ident, that means just press that, and that makes it go bold on his screen. So if he's got loads he's looking at, he can see who he's talking to.
Okay, yeah.
So that's that. This is the navcom radio. So half of it is for navigation, which is linked to these instruments that we won't be using because we're flying visually today. The other half is linked to the radio, which you'll hear us talking on, obviously. And this is basically how you can split the various audio feeds from both into different headsets. And if you want to separate the people in the back so they can have a chat without you, that's how that's all done.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and the ammeter, of course, as well, just to check that you've got enough power to turn the engine over. This is the suction gyro, so that controls some of these suction instruments, like the artificial horizon that's driven by a fan being blown by air. This is called the Hobbs meter. It measures engine hours, so you know when the airplane needs to check, and also that's how we work out how to charge each other at the fuel that we've used. And then that's just heating. We won't be needing heating today. So yeah, that is it. That's all you need to. Got that lot? Remembered that?
Yeah, I've remembered every bit.
We're good, right.
So one thing, just a quick thing. Yeah. You know that the other YouTuber, I can't remember what they called, is speaking about it. Is it 310 pilot, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
His wife, why does she always? Is this something just to do with being small in here, but why does she always have the door open till the very, very last minute?
Because it's hot.
Is that it? Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was like something that you needed to do for.
It's only in hot countries, and again on tours and stuff. We're always doing it. Once you've landed, we often open the door just because you get massive airflow off that big fan on the front.
Yeah, right.
And if you're sweating in here like we are now, that's lovely to have the door open, all the airflow coming in. So that's all that is.
Right. Okay.
We probably won't do that because the opening and closing the doors isn't that straightforward. Right. And as you haven't done it before, you don't want to be fuddling about when I'm about to take off. So we probably won't do that. But that's what she's doing there.
Okay.
It's a good.
I just always wondered because they never mentioned it, and I always wondered if.
Yeah, no, it's just to cool down because these planes are old and there's no air conditioning, and you know it's just to make it all comfortable. They're in a hot part of the US, aren't they, most of the time? So that's all that's about. Right, how are we doing for time? We better sort ourselves out then.
Little boy's room, and then
let's go aviating. Brill. 4, 5 and locked. Prime is locked. Mags are in. Brakes are on. Clear prop. Come on. Woo! Woo! Okay, happy so far?
I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
Apart from the mic, that's a bit nuisance, isn't it? Right, 1200 set. T's and P's are all good. Time is looking okay. We might be a little bit early on arrival, but what the heck. Better to be early than late, I say. Right, we did all that. Start warning light has gone out. Oil pressure is good. Get the mic right close to your lips. It has to be touching your lips. Okay. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was just maybe it was just a proximity thing. Yeah, you almost have to eat these mics for it to work. Waltham Radio, good morning. It's Golf India Sierra Delta Bravo. Request airfield information and radio check.
11 left hand, QNH 1020.
1020, 11 left hand, Golf Delta Bravo. Okay, happy? Yes. We're off. Brakes away. Get this thing cooling down a bit. Another 380 there.
Golf Yankee, tank order goes up, point November, 2000 feet for rejoin. Golf Tank Oscar, runway 811 left hand, QSE 1015. That's 11 left hand, QSE 1015, Golf Tank Oscar.
So where's that one who's on final then? Oh, there he is. I can see him just above the trees. Let's see him.
Oh yeah.
The annoying thing about this runway is you do your power checks behind those trees, so aircraft that are on final can't see you doing it, so they're not aware you're about to taxi on there, so and you can't necessarily see airplanes. They have to sort of position ostensibly.
Golf 4 Bravo, lining up after landing aircraft.
Right, 1200 RPM set.
checklist. Right.
Golf Delta, makes letting down dead side
Brakes
of
are on,
11.
throttle 1200 is set. Let's change the fuel tank, so fuel pump can come on. Reach it, right tank, fuel pump off. These P's are still in the green, altimeter is set 1020. Harnesses are still on, hatches are still secure. Okay, all good. Right, throttle, 2000 RPM. Golf tank, all still double ahead. Brakes are holding, carb heats. They'll check magnetos, check for drop. 1, 2. Vacuum is 5. Engine gauges, T's and P's are still green. Alternator output.
Golf tank, all still dead safe descending.
750 RPM, that's fine. Oil pressure's good, back to 1200. That's all good. Trimmer is set, throttle friction nut is tight, mixture is rich, carbine is off. Magnetos are on both. Primer is locked. Flaps, 2 stages of flap, 1, 2. Fuel, we're on the right tank, we'll change that 15 minutes in, remind me to do that. Got that? Good. Fuel pump can come on.
Yeah, Golf Delta, mate, go, we are climbing overhead.
Keep a little look out here, we've got one there overhead, so we'll choose our moment to take off. Little look at the circuit as we come round. We've got one there, it's Johnny overhead. We know there's one coming in, I just heard him on the radio.
Golf tank, all still downwind, runway 11 to land.
1 downwind. Right, happy?
Yes, yeah, totally happy, yeah.
Letting down again on the dead side of 11.
Golf Delta Bravo is lining up 11. And I'm reporting that with incoming aircraft.
Golf Delta, short final.
That's the problem with that runway, you see.
Yeah.
Couldn't see him coming in.
Very well.
Right, we'll get out quick behind him.
Golf Delta, mate, joining circuit on the dead side.
Wait for him to call vacated and we'll go.
Awesome, good morning, Golf Oscar, Delta, Sierra.
Touch and go.
Delta Sierra, Walker Radio, good morning, you're 5, 11 left hands in use, QNH 1020.
And Golf Delta Bravo is rolling.
Golf Delta, mate, lead downwind.
Right, so we're going to have to take off and then turn left because of that left-hand circuit. It's pretty bumpy now. Okay, airspeed's active. T's and P is good. 50 knots. 55. 60, up she goes. 5. Alright, so far?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, just a gentle turn as we're still quite low. We're going to lose one stage of flat now. Keeping an eye on that cub. Because he's a slower airplane than us. Right, we're just downwind now. We're coming downwind. Golf Delta Bravo's downwind and I'll be departing to the south. Happy with that?
Yeah,
Great.
definitely. Happy with it.
Right, watching what that comes up to.
What a fantastic view.
Great, isn't it? It is a privilege to be up here, isn't it?
Definitely it is.
the mission today is to fly down to Goodwood, where we're going to meet up with Chopsy, TeapotOne and AndyManCam, who we've never met. AndyManCam, looking forward to it. And then we're going to recreate that classic Top Gear episode when they raced a car against a plane. But we're not doing it from South France.
3 of the fastest bikes on the road, I would say.
Yeah. We're doing Goodwood to Maidenhead, so slightly different.
Chopsy on his H2, Teapot on a Super Duke GT from KTM, and AndyManCam on the electric
ESR, isn't it?
SRF.
Is it the
SRF, yeah.
Funnily enough, the airfield over there, that green bit is Dunsfold, which is where they used to record Top Gear, of course.
Really?
Yeah. So there's another little link. There's the airfield, that green patch over there, look. Yep, got it. Turn left and land into it. And Golf Delta Bravo is just turning final for 14.
Golf Delta Bravo, runway 14. Land at your discretion, 1307 knots.
Golf Delta Bravo. Quite a lot of height to lose, and I want to make sure I can see 14. But we're heading in the direction of 14. I can see what looks like a strip. You can see what I mean about the trouble. It's a field, and we're looking for a runway in it.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure I've got it. So we've got 70 knots on the nose, still got quite a bit of height to lose. We can put in Asia flat. And Golf Delta Bravo's final for landing.
Golf Delta Bravo, runway 14, land at your discretion, 1307 knots.
Golf Delta Bravo. 70 knots on the nose.
Between 4 and 3,000 feet, Celtic Bill.
Ones as well.
They're like scale extras, aren't they?
Orange, that back one, isn't it?
Cool. Come on, make it a good one, Andy. Oh, I don't get softer than that, Richard. Flaps away.
Golf Delta Bravo, welcome to Goodwood. Vacate to the left and park in front of the tower.
Vacate left, park in front of the tower, Golf Delta Bravo. Right, power back to 1200. Brakes on, touchdown at 20 past. Okay. Electrics can go off. Speak to you in a moment. Bet if you want to take that mic out of your thing, we can use it on there when we're talking.
Woo. First flight complete.
Thanks.
Wow. Can I open this door?
Sure, yeah, please do. Quick as you like. Oh, it's cooking, man.
1, 2.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Oh, good. It is. It's too hot. That's what's happening.
Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, it's like too hot, overheated. Yeah.
We won't be using that in that spot. So how'd you find that?
I loved it. I was purposefully not speaking so much because I didn't want to interfere.
No, it's quite a busy flight.
I know. Obviously, you're having
choose
to
a really good route there because there's a lot for me to do in that short flight.
You're having to really listen. Bruce Smart.
We missed you. Can you do it again?
Buenas tardes.
I knew you'd say that. I said that.
You didn't switch your camera on. We're next to. I don't know if you can see.
It's a big.
There's a big one. November 215 Bravo Tango. Okay then, mate. Well, Andy's just doing some paperwork, and then we'll be over to you.
Did he notice how good the landing was?
Did you notice how good the landing was? It was super smooth. All right, we'll see you in a sec, mate. Bye. Right, so if I put that, did you just dangle it over there? Yeah. Folks. So that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I was just saying to Andy, I purposefully didn't speak much because it sounds far too technical up there, and I didn't want to interfere with you know, important stuff. But oh, that was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But bloody well hot up there, and I don't know what we did or didn't get, but I think the cameras are overheating and switching off, so just doing some paperwork before we go and meet the lads. So yeah, what we did say is so not only is this my first flight with Andy, but what we were also doing is grabbing an opportunity. So we're meeting Teapot and LambChops and Mr. AndyManCam, and we're going to do have a little spot of lunch, and then we're going to go and do a race back. They're on the bikes, we're in the plane. Which way do we go? Look, they're faffing about. Good, let them faff. We've got quarter mile run. We've got to get it fired up yet.